On this episode of the Quest podcast, I'm excited to welcome Marjaana Rakai, the inspiring force behind Tired Mom Runs. Marjaana is dedicated to helping mothers find balance between family life and personal fitness goals. With a master's degree in sports science, certifications as an NASM Personal Trainer, and expertise as a women's coaching specialist, she offers evidence-based endurance training programs that integrate strength training, sports nutrition, and female physiology. I first connected with Marjaana when I was a guest on the Athletes Compass podcast, a conversation that highlighted her passion for endurance sports and empowering women through fitness. You will find a link to that episode in the show notes. Marjaana is also an accomplished athlete, having competed in the Ironman World Championships in Nice, France, and her journey from an exhausted mom to an Ironman competitor is nothing short of inspiring. And today we dive into how she helps others pursue their fitness dreams while balancing everyday life. Join the episode. Today I'm introducing you to a groundbreaking health and wellness device that could change the way you monitor your metabolic health, the ACE Track. I've been using it myself for a while and I've learned a lot along the way. The ACE Track is a cutting-edge breath analyzer designed to measure your ketone levels in real time, giving you instant insights into your metabolic state, whether you're following a ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, or just looking to optimize your health. The ACE Track provides the information you need to stay on track and achieve your goals. What sets the ACE Track apart is its convenience and accuracy. Unlike traditional blood tests, ACE Track is non-invasive and it's pain-free. Simply breathe into the device, and within seconds you receive precise ketone readings on your smartphone via the ACE Track app. The app not only tracks your progress over time, but also offers guidance to help you make informed decisions about your diet and lifestyle. The sleek portable design makes ACE Track perfect for use at home or on the go. It's easy to carry, simple to use, and it provides consistent, reliable results every single time. With ACE Track, you can effortlessly monitor how your body responds to different foods, activities, and routines, empowering you to optimize your metabolic health and reach your wellness goals faster. So join the growing community of health enthusiasts who are taking control of their metabolism via ACE Track. So say goodbye to guesswork and hello to healthier, more informed you. Get your ACE Track today and start your journey towards optimal health and wellness. So don't miss out on this revolutionary tool. Visit getacetrack.com. You find the full address in the show notes beneath, and use the code the Primal Swede and receive a $40 or €40 discount. Okay, stay strong. Perfect. So we have another exciting session with the Quest podcast with me, the Primal Swede, and I think we will get into this in today's episode. I just did something and I don't find the words. I was like, holy shit, what did I do now? I think we will get into this. However, with that said, we have a guest on today's podcast, and today's guest, I was actually on the Athletica at the Athletes Compass podcast a while ago, and our guest today was a part of that podcast as well, and I got the pleasure of talking a lot and answering questions, and that's always good. So let's do it in the opposite way this time, right? So today we have Marjaana. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Marjaana?
Yeah, pretty good, Marjaana. Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah.
And you're from Finland, right?
I am originally from Finland. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I will do is I will give the word to you, Marjaana, and you will introduce yourself. And I think today's topic, it will be about sports and endurance and all of these things. And I know the listeners are also into endurance. It might be, triathlon or running or ultra running, trail running and cycling and stuff, right? So I would be like super curious, and the listeners as well, about your background. Why do you do what you do? Why do you find passion in endurance sports and all of these things? Like, how did it start? I give the word to you, Marjaana. Please go ahead. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me, Eric. So I am Marjaana Rakai. My maiden name was Lappi. I'm from Lapland, so you're familiar with the northern parts of Finland, Sweden, Norway. my hometown is Rovaniemi, Santa's village. So I guess my background within in endurance sports started when I was a small kid living in the forest in Lapland, and I fell in love with Nordic skiing, cross-country skiing, and running because really there was nothing else to do. So I would ski to school, ski back, and then I would do a training session in the evening too. So it was just like constant. And I would, like I would ski around the school during the break. So I was just in the movement all the time. And it definitely formed who I am today. But fast forward, so I was a cross-country skier in my youth, had some troubles with health and overtraining. Ended my career with a back injury. I kind of just decided to do something else, so I moved to Norway in a whim, and I'm still on that road. I lived in Norway for 10 years. We're supposed to just have a exchange semester in Canada. Ended up meeting my husband, and then we've traveled the world the last 15 years. States, Brazil, United Arab Emirates, back to Canada, back to States, so everywhere. We have 3 kids, and at some point during this crazy life that we've lived, I lost myself. Like I lost my passion for sports. I lost my identity kind of, and I just poured myself into raising my 3 little ones while my husband was away at work on the other side of the world. So I went through a really, really tough time, and I didn't have the outlet of what endurance sports or movement and taking care of myself offers. So I was on the verge of suicide for a
Mm.
while.
Yeah.
And it just happened that I was hiking,
Hmm.
and I had these suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
And then just the thought of my kids asking, "Where's mom?
Mm.
When is mom coming home?"
Yeah.
It got me up and, running. And like how runner's high can make you feel good. So I ended up having the runner's high there. And I think that was just a sign from the higher power that your turn is not over.
Yeah.
So I started running, and I was so out of shape. Like I could run barely 5K. I was just exhausted. So, but it ignited my passion or reignited my passion for endurance sports. And, I'm I'm sure like small things, they snowball.
Yeah.
And so I got curious, like, okay, well, can I run 5K really fast?
Yeah.
And then it was 10K, and then it was half marathon. At this point, I still thought that no way I can do a marathon. But at some point, it like curiosity kills the cat, right?
Yeah.
I got so curious that I just had to do a marathon. At some point, I also did first triathlon, and then it snowballed. Oh, can I do half Ironman? Oh, I did that. Can I do a full Ironman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in short, that's my story.
That's a good story. It's pretty dramatic as well. Like I'm wondering, like, how long was the break between you doing, like, growing up and doing cross country skiing until you like rediscovered movement and running?
Um, so I quit skiing in my 20, like I think I just turned 20 and I moved to Norway. And in Norway, I dabbled in different kind of sports, but I didn't like I did a couple of half marathons, but it's slowly kind of like I was busy partying and, studying and finding my own identity, like how much we grow when we're in our 20s. And then I got my first child at the age of 32. So there was like 12 years of
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
following the wind.
Yeah. I that's quite interesting. Like, so, which I think I shared that on the Athletes Compass podcast. Like in my background, I don't really have a background at all, like in sports. I grew up, and my brother, he did like football or soccer and stuff. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything. I read comics, and I drank sodas, and I watched television. Right.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting that you had this break, and anyway, right? And I'm curious as well. So you kind of rediscovered running and movement. So I imagine it's a leading question, I guess. But so it did help with your kind of like mental health as well, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been such a huge part of my mental health. Um, just taking those small steps and making myself feel better about myself in the really, really busy life of taking care of so we had 3 kids within 3.5 years.
Yeah,
So like small children, it's a lot of work. And there
yeah,
was a lot of many years of no sleeping through the night. So you're constantly in this fog of, oh, I feel so tired. And I wasn't taking care of myself. Like I was eating poorly. I didn't drink alcohol because I've seen what it does to people, and I don't want my kids to be
yeah,
exposed to that. And but I would like drive through Starbucks and get a blueberry muffin. That was almost daily,
yeah,
sugar high. And I realized like I need to put myself first uh, to be a better mom, really.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's like when you're under lots of stress. That's true for me, for everyone, I guess. You tend to, it could be alcohol or tobacco or, sweets and chocolate and candy and sugar, whatever, right? Kind of
yeah.
to numb your senses in a sense.
Yeah, totally. So I kind of went into the rabbit hole. So I have a master's degree in sports sciences.
Yeah,
So I tend to get a little bit obsessive about health and exercise, but I went into a rabbit hole of understanding what exercise does to your mind. And I learned about habits, and I realized that what I was looking for with the Starbucks and the muffin or coffee and the muffin was the pickup, the feel good.
yeah,
And then it was like a aha moment for me, like, okay, well, obviously I know that the muffin, the sugar high is not good for me. How can I replace that habit? So instead of that muffin, I would add in any exercise, what you can get into your daily life as a busy mom of taking care of 3 very little ones. So it would be like, I don't know, 100 push-ups. Very small thing, like 15 minutes of yoga or 15 minutes of running, like up and down our driveway, pulling cart with 3 kids.
yeah,
Anything. And I also like got a mantra
yeah,
that it said like make one good decision a day. And that was like when I walked into Starbucks, it was just like, okay, just get the coffee. Make one good decision in a day. And then, that just like you see the benefit of replacing that muffin with exercise, and the feel good is a lot longer lasting.
yeah. Like I'm curious, like, so how did you overcome the obstacle of actually doing that? I mean, it's super easy to think it, to
Yeah.
have it in fear, let make one good decision, or forget about the muffin. I'm going to do like 100 push-ups. I'm going to do this. Maybe you do that the first time, you do 100 push-ups. Next day you do like 50. On the third day you do 25. On the fourth day you're gonna take a rest.
Yeah.
And that's it. You lost the game.
Well, it is, you know, it's not linear progression. It goes back and forth, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, but you have to forgive yourself. I've learned that I make lots of mistakes. I'm not a perfect mom. I'm not a perfect human being. I make lots of mistakes, but I also see, the benefits of forgiving myself and getting back on track as soon as possible. So I'm not like, I don't like, I do take breaks, and I see the benefit and the importance of taking a break and just breathe. You know, if that looks like I don't train for a while, that usually is a really hard thing for me because I'm so invested in my health and my training. Taking a break is really hard. Um, but it might be that I switch it to a bike ride with my kid
Yeah.
instead of, doing a specific workout.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying you are not a perfect human being, Marjaana.
No, but nobody's perfect, and we need to forgive ourselves, but get on track as soon as possible after you've, you know,
Yeah.
not trained, or you've been traveling and you're just tired. Just listen to your body and get back on track when you feel better.
Yeah. I imagine, if you go to your website, it's tiredmoms.com, right? Yeah.
Tiredmomruns.com.
Yeah, exactly. So or for me, or you go to like an Instagram account of an athlete and you watch like the Instagram stories and stuff. You like the I don't know, like the ordinary people, the regular people might think like all these people, they are perfect, they
Oh
accomplish
my
so
gosh.
many things.
Oh, no way. No. Oh, so this summer, so this year I did Ironman Texas in April,
Yeah,
and I had no plans. Like I was so tired of trying to juggle. Now my boys are, so I have three kids. They are 13, 12, and 10. My boys play baseball, and
yeah,
we're in Texas, so the baseball is intense.
yeah,
And it takes a whole village to get the boys through the baseball. So I was so burned out because in the weekends, I'm taking one of them to their game. It takes all weekend. And while I'm watching them play
yeah,
and supporting them, I'm thinking I should be training. So the push and pull of my responsibilities and what I want to do, like I want to be there for my children. Um, in the same time, I'm like, I have Ironman to do. I need to be riding like 6 hours. So I was so tired of that pressure in April that I'm like, I have no desire to do another Ironman this year, and I need a break. But turns out I qualified for the World Championships in Nice. That was 2 weeks ago. And I just had to find the inner mental strength and power to do another block of a lot of training throughout the summer, which I told myself before, like, do not pick a fall race, like, or end of summer race, because it's so difficult to train with three kids at home. And, so that was one of the hardest things I've done lately was to um, train through the summer and try to balance everything. I'm also working. Um, and it was not pretty and it was not perfect. And I broke down several times. Like I had mental breakdown, like crying and I can't do this anymore. And but I did it at the end. Um, and I'm so grateful for the whole journey because now I can show other people that, it doesn't have to be perfect.
yeah,
Training, it's a hobby, although I gain tremendous amount of, confidence, and I feel like um I'm doing something that I was put on this earth to do. Like there's a purpose to this, and a tremendous amount of like self-actualization that makes me really, really stoked and happy. And when I'm in the race and when it's a race day, I am like the happiest. I rarely feel so alive than when I'm doing really difficult things. Like there's something to that that like speaks to my soul, just doing hard things. And regardless, like I've learned not to put too much pressure on myself, like placement wise, but just to be happy in the moment and like try my best. That's all I can do.
Yeah,
So if I can unpack that, would be like training never goes as planned, and that's okay.
that's good. Like training never goes as planned, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good stuff. I mean, I agreed. I remember my first Ironman in Kalmar, Sweden, and how I could meet others, you know, when they took the sports drinks or nutrition, whatever, and I could hear people maybe complaining about, you know, temperature or pain, whatever. Or I could see that people were tired. I was tired. I also had pain on these things. I experienced pain, but as you say, it's, you know, I felt fully alive and I was happy. I was like in pain. It was hard. It was difficult, but this is the best thing I ever done. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's okay. So if we take a 10,000 uh, foot overview, we're a little weird. You
yeah.
know, most people like to be comfortable and, you know, life is easy, but I'm not happy that way.
I think it's the contrast. You know, I'd love to lie on the couch and watch like a movie on Netflix. That's cool. But I
Yep.
only kind of love to do it if I also do ultra cycling. It's kind of
Yeah.
the opposites, right?
Yeah. And I think like you can't expect always to be happy in the race moment. Like Ironman Texas, oh gosh, I never wanted to quit so many times.
Yeah,
And like I really struggled on the run. I just wanted to quit. But I pushed through, and the moment I crossed the finish line and saw my youngest, we both just hugged each other so tight and like gut cried together. And it was such a beautiful moment instead of like quitting and feeling ashamed and disappointment, you know, in their eyes, in my kids' eyes. But uh, my coach said something to me, Dr. Paul Larson, who he's been on your podcast too. He said something to me before the race that I took with me for the last 90 minutes of the race. And he said, like, you are so strong, you can embrace the pain, like ask more of that pain because you know you can withstand a lot of pain.
yeah,
So just stay in the moment and stay in the pain and embrace it and ask for more. So
yeah,
what I did was I said this out loud to myself, 25K of the marathon at the end of Ironman, like Marjaana, like you are the queen of pain and hurt. Like you've gone through so much more painful stuff than this.
yeah,
And reflecting to my uh, you know, darkest moments when I wanted to kill myself,
yeah.
and the shame that is associated with the suicidal thoughts. I like that's I still carry that with me. So I'm like, you are the queen of pain and hurt. Like this is nothing. Like this, bring it on. Like bring it. Let's do this. Let's that 17K, just like push through it. Like this is what you've been looking for. You know, on those days that I don't feel like training, but I show up anyways. Like this is why, so that I can do these 17Ks that are usually the hardest part of the day.
I love it. It's powerful stuff. Like it bring it on.
Yes.
Stay in the pain and embrace it. Use the pain.
Embrace it. Yeah. Just like be grateful for it
Yeah,
because you're doing something difficult. So the last 5K, you can see like on the knees, you come from the airport towards
yeah.
you're running on the promenade and you can see the finish line. It's blinking and it's just like bright finish, like you can see it far away. And I was able to pick up my pace and I was just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I just like I pushed the last few Ks, like, you know, in the grand scheme of a very long day, those last Ks go by so fast. And I felt like, oh, I don't want this to end. It
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking that's so you had like first thing, you did Ironman in Texas, right? So you qualified for Ironman World Championship, correct?
Yep.
Like in Nice, right?
Yep.
So walk us through a bit Ironman in Nice, the World Championship. That would be interesting. I think I suppose the listeners know the distances, but you have 3.8K swimming, and then you have like 180K cycling, and then a 42K marathon, right? So walk us through a bit, like you experience maybe each session, each leg. That would be quite interesting as well.
Sure. So 3.8K swim, beautiful Mediterranean, very, you know, buoyant. So, but there was there was a bit of swell and wind had picked up, so there was waves. But I'm a good swimmer, so that played to my strengths. I was really enjoying it. It was such an amazing swim. My age group left the last, like they stage age groups, and then it was a in water start, so that was fun. I've never done that before.
Mm.
And so swim was great. I think I was somewhere 20 something coming out. Quickly transferred to the bike, and the bike was the hardest because there's 2,400 meters of elevation throughout the 180K. And so it's basically most of the climbing happens the first 3 hours. And I live on somewhere where there's no hills at all. So
Wow.
yeah, it's very flat here. And it was hot the whole summer. So I was stuck on my trainer the whole summer and doing a lot of low gear work, strength endurance work to prepare myself for the climbs. So not ideal course for me, really. And I'm quite heavy, so it takes a lot of effort for me to get up those hills. But I had practice. So Athletica has this tool called Workout Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And I had practiced, like when I started practicing on the course, like thinking that, okay, the first 3 hours are going to be really hard, but I can't go too hard because then I'm going to burn my legs and the rest of the ride will be horrible. So I had to be really patient. And so I used Workout Reserve, which is kind of tells you um, in real time. So I have Workout Reserve in my watch. It tells you how much of you have battery left, or it takes that moment and compares what you've done the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you go, the scale goes from from 100. So thinking your battery is full to 0 when 0 is like your personal best.
Yeah.
So my coach told me, okay, because I had done the course a couple of times and, 4 hours in, I was just like, my legs were just done.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, you have to slow down in the beginning. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna kill this, this hill. I'm gonna get so good. I'm gonna go up this hill so many times. My legs are gonna be just so strong. But it doesn't work that way. Like I had to really like be patient. So I used Workout Reserve and I aimed at like 30% when I get to the top. So that allowed me to complete the whole, bike 180
Yeah.
Ks
So
without feeling.
like an in-between question here, like the workout reserve in Athletic AI, can you see that like in real life? Like
Yes. Yeah. You can
is
put it
that
on your
posted on your
watch.
watch when you do the race itself?
Yeah. So you can put it on your watch or your bike computer.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
in addition to seeing your power, your heart rate, your pace, you can add workout reserve and see like how fast it's dropping and what they don't really like to use the battery, but I think it's useful. Like you want to save energy for later on in an Ironman because
Yeah.
you still have to run a marathon even after the bike
There's still a
ride.
marathon to do. Yeah.
There's still a marathon to do, and it was so my bike was great. I love the coming down the mountains, like very flowy, fast turns and a few hairpins, but my skiing skills came handy because I know which lines to take
Yeah.
and when to slow down and when to, like use your speed to get out of a turn. So that I was just so happy. It was so much fun. Um, and then, the last 30 Ks, actually, you're coming down, 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 but it's difficult because you go through these French villages and there's speed bumps and there's like, you can't just fly down. So yeah, I think the bike was such an amazing experience. I felt good. I felt like, yeah, I'm ready to run a marathon. I think so. My goal was to think, did I underbike that,
Mm.
180 K?
Yeah.
Because often you ride it too hard and then you struggle on the run.
So now it was
So
like opposite, you mean? It
yeah,
was,
I wanted
yeah,
to have the opposite feeling.
yeah,
Like I want to have like the feeling like,
yeah,
did I just underbike
mm,
it?
yeah.
So coming to T2 and leaving, my legs felt so light. I was running way too fast, and I'm like, it was so hard to hold back because you have all the crowds there,
Yeah,
you
I know.
know, and you get so much energy from the crowds and they're cheering and just like it hits you like, wow, this is the World Championships
Yeah.
and I'm here with all these incredible women who've gone through a lot of the same stuff, same struggles than I have done, and it's just like this community and like a connection um with these women, and I'm just like in awe of everybody who's in there doing their thing. um, but yeah, so it was really hard to hold back during the run
It's
in the
difficult
beginning.
when you have these crowds cheering on you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
insane. By the way, I was as an audience member, I was watching Ironman Kalmar last year. I just standing as watching, and it's just like insane. So many people and cheering and the atmosphere and the vibes and all of it. And at the place I was, alongside the track, the path itself, they had put up kind of a stage and music and techno and trance music. It was unbelievable. It was
yeah,
actually kind of the music and the atmosphere, or the music and people dancing, that's kind of what plays out in my mind when I do the race itself. So you have this
yeah,
combination of I'm running or I'm cycling, swimming, and meanwhile what takes place in my mind is the music and everything, which I
yeah,
experienced as a bystander this time.
yeah,
So yeah, it's difficult anyway. That's my point, to hold
yeah,
back when everyone's like cheering for you.
yeah. It is very hard. Uh, but by now, like this was my fourth Ironman. I know that first 15K should be pretty easy. It's the pain is coming,
Yeah,
so be ready for it.
yeah.
And so I started a little too hard, had to hold back, and then 15K in, my pace starts to slow down. It still feels like, oh my gosh, it's still so long until this line. But then 25, like mentally I was ready for that 25K. When I get to 25K, this is when I meet myself.
Yeah,
I'm waiting at 25K mark.
yeah.
um and then I had to have that pep talk with myself.
With myself.
And it's funny, I met this Danish girl. I was chatting with her during the run, and I think she just had passed me when I said that, and she just turned around and looked like, what?
You talk aloud with yourself.
Yeah, I said it out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
It's so much more powerful than in your head.
Yeah. That's good. It's like you usually, like, if you see someone and they talk with themselves, you think that's a crazy person. But we have already established that we are kind of
We are
mad
kind of,
anyway.
well, yeah, like I was thinking, like when I was in Nice, I was like, okay, so for everybody, 1,400 women that are there, this
Yeah.
is normal. But if you look from outside, it's like, they did what? What is this thing? Like, that's crazy. For us, it's normal, but for average Joe and Jane, it's not. It's just like, that is impossible. And that's what I thought too. I did my first triathlon 2015. And so my triathlon interest was peaked when we lived in Brazil. I was walking my newborn 2010 along the beach of Leblon and Ipanema just to stay awake because he was a terrible sleeper and I was constantly tired. So I would walk and push the stroller. And I saw these people swimming and then like, okay, that's cool. And then they started running, and I'm like, wait, what is this? They must be triathletes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that like sounds fun. That looks fun. Like you go swim and then you run, and then yeah, I want to do that one day. So it took me 5 years from that moment to actually do. So I started with the Olympic triathlon.
Yeah.
So which is 1.5K swim, 40K bike ride, and then a 10K run. And I like, there's no way I can ever do half Ironman, like Ironman. No way.
It's like you can't even imagine it, right? Like at one point, before I did any running or anything at all, really, I watched the half marathon in this city, and I was thinking, like, people are mad. Why are they running like a half marathon? What's the point?
Yeah.
Why are they even doing it? I didn't understand it. And then the idea of an Ironman, it wasn't even in my mind. I didn't even know what an Ironman was.
Yeah. Yeah. It just sounds so intimidating and like impossible. Like
Yeah.
for me to do, I could barely run 5K, you know?
Yeah. Are you tired of guessing whether your diet is truly working for you? Say goodbye to uncertainty and welcome a new era of nutritional clarity. It's time to shift from guesswork to evidence-based nutrition. Picture this. It's 2016 and I'm gearing up for some serious endurance challenges, crossing Iceland by mountain bike and tackling my very first Ironman in Kalmar, Sweden. But I had a problem. Past injuries lingered and I needed to optimize my health for peak performance, from immune support to muscle function and heart health. Enter the balance oil. Since 2016, it's been my secret weapon, delivering consistent results that I can trust. But let's rewind a bit. What sets balance oil apart? It's not just another omega-3 supplement, it's a game changer backed by science. With a simple finger prick test, I gained insights into my essential fatty acid levels, thanks to a state-of-the-art lab in Norway. The results, eye-opening. Turns out most of us suffer from a severe imbalance between the omega-3s and omega-6, a key factor in cellular function. The solution, the balance oil. The balance oil is formulated with polyphenols, potent antioxidants that preserves its freshness and efficacy. This isn't just about popping pills or taking an oil, it's about bioavailability, ensuring your body absorbs and utilizes every single drop. My journey with the balance oil didn't stop at the first test. With regular follow-ups, I've been seeing my ratios improve, paving the way for optimal health and performance, and now I'm thrilled to share this life-changing product with you. So are you curious about your own levels, if your diet works? Take the guesswork out of your diet and discover the balance oil. Plus, as a premier customer, you enjoy exclusive discounts up to 60% and personalized supports from your truly. Ready to unlock your full potential? Click the link in show notes under balance, oil, and test-based nutrition and join me on the path to better health.
But there is something, I think, within us that always is wondering what else is possible.
Absolutely. So I'm wondering, like, how was the last, like in Nice? Let's go back to Nice a bit. So how was the last 5 kilometers of running?
The best time of my life. It was like I was able to pick up the pace. I was like pushing as hard as I could. I was running as hard as I could because you can see the finish line. You know that you're gonna make it, but pushing the pace,
Yeah.
then it gets like, oh, can I make it? Like I love the feeling of can I make it? Anything can happen. Like you can completely bonk or you can get a cramp. Then what? Like you have to slow down and stretches and keep going. But yeah, I just enjoyed running harder at the end and just crossing that finish line and just like soaking in the moment, high-fiving people, and then it's over. That's like, oh my God, I did it. But then it's just like
Yeah.
the stroke goes down real quick because you just enjoyed it so much. You didn't want it to end.
So how, like, so how was your kind of mindset, and how did you feel? Like you reached the finish line, and then the day after you were tired, I imagine, and then the upcoming week did you have any kind of, did you feel like a bit, maybe, I don't know, like a bit lost maybe, and you have no goals and all of these things, and you're tired and depleted, or did you feel like I'm all right, I'm gonna sign up for another Ironman?
Yes, we had such a whirlwind trip to France. Like we were in and out in a week. So we had to leave the day after, early in the morning. So we basically just traveled back. I felt really good, energized, and of course happy and proud what I've accomplished. And then last week I just went straight back to work,
Yeah.
just burned myself because I know the blues will come. Like
Yeah.
you feel a little sad and like, what now? Like I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Now what? So I have not signed up for anything yet, but I've started to make some plans, and because like I think that for me and family especially, we have to have some time where I'm not obsessed about training. I'm training, but I don't have a goal. But yeah, I really want to get back to skiing. I've missed skiing. Like we've lived in these snowless places for so long.
You have
Couple of
like lots of snow in your background, but maybe that's like a virtual background, or you are sitting outside like a proper person from Finland, and you're
well,
accustomed
this is
to
yeah.
snow.
I have small elements of Nordic countries here. So I have
Yeah,
a reindeer skin and
yeah, yeah.
um, candle burning. Like I miss the Nordic countries and the culture a lot still after 20. Well, I left Norway in 2009, so 16 years ago. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and like, so I just did an, how do you say, like, in impromptu, like I just made up like an adventure by myself because I had planned to travel to Spain for a week and bike, but it was cancelled, the trip. So instead, I
Yeah.
thought maybe I can just bike here. So I did an ultra cycling event, solo and unsupported. And I started in Gothenburg, took the ferry to Denmark, and biked around Denmark, and then took the ferry like 3 times and into Sweden again, South Sweden, and then biked up. So 3 nights in a bivy bag, slept like 11 hours, 680K. I took my time, like it wasn't an event, it wasn't a competition, it was just like a personal challenge. But when I got to the finish line and I was finished, I did feel not as dramatic, not as deep as it could, but I did feel like what now? Like what is my goal? Like I don't have anything to, and I'm super tired. And then I realized maybe I should actually next time do like a post adventure plan or post event plan. Like you always do this plan before, how to prepare nutrition and exercise, fitness, and yada yada, and then you do the event itself. And then when you get back, it's like I didn't plan for anything. I just thought I would lie down on my couch and sleep. But that actually might actually need a solid plan for that stage as well.
Yeah, if you don't have a plan, I feel like you fall into this vacuum,
Yeah,
and then it's easy to start feeling a little blue.
yeah,
Um, but I also think that it's important for your longevity in sport to have those breaks and pauses and celebrate the accomplishments that you've just done, like your adventure, like amazing. Like celebrate that. However you want to celebrate, you don't have to invite your 100 best friends to your party, but you know,
that's a lot of best friends. Yeah,
yeah, recognize that what you've done is amazing, because I think that's also important.
yeah. So I have two like more questions for you. One is you mentioned you had a back injury back in the days, and now you did like World Championship in Nice and all of these things. Do you have that? Like, do you feel that injury, or you have an experience with injuries, or everything is kind of good and no problem whatsoever, and you just flow through these events?
I have had so many injuries, and I think it's part of the game, and it teaches you to take care of your body and listen to your body. Because sometimes our minds are stronger than our body, especially when you age. Like I'm 46, I'm in perimenopause. My injuries, like if they are like, I'm struggling with plantar fasciitis at the moment, again for the fourth time. They just take a lot longer to heal.
Yeah,
So this year I've had hamstring injury. I went to the gym with my 13-year-old, didn't properly warm up, and we started heavy squatting. So I pulled my back like a SI joint,
yeah,
and I struggled with hamstring injury for a long time until like June.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's never like, that's why I'm saying like it's never ideal. Like injuries are part of the picture. I think like you need to be really diligent to listening to your body and like the stress, like overall life stress. Um, I worry about my kids' mental health. Are they too much on their screens? You know, like there's so many things that causes me stress. I need to be really smart about when not to push it. And my coach has been really, really helpful teaching me that, you know, it's okay to change your VO2 max workout to something lighter if you're not feeling 100%.
yeah,
It's actually probably smarter to change it to like your plan is never, an Athletica allows you know, you change plan, like change your workout plan from this day to another one, or you can change the workout itself based on time availability or fatigue or whatever. Like maybe it's like I walk a lot for mental health and just recovery. But as I'm getting older, I need to be a lot more careful with my body.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so the back and my heels are definitely, they pop up when the stress is too much.
I think it's that's a good it's really I think it's valuable that you share that information as well, because I think for the listeners, and what that kind of touches back upon the idea of the ideal athlete, right? There is no such thing. Like, we are all regular human beings, ordinary human beings like everyone else, and we have
Yeah.
these injuries and mental struggles and whatnot, right? But yeah,
Yeah. So I ran that marathon with plantar fasciitis. And I've learned throughout my struggles with injuries is that pain is, it's detected in the brain. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing damage to yourself.
uh,
Okay, so it's not ideal to run through with the plantar fasciitis, and it's not comfortable having pain in your heel, you know. but it's not, you can still do things with that pain.
Yeah.
You just need to be smart about it. Like you don't want to push through pain regardless,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like on this episode when I was biking, I had knee pain. Right. So I had like
Yeah.
on my right knee, I had knee pain, and I'm working on that rehab and everything. So like, what is going on? And finally, I raised my saddle like proper, like 1 centimeter. That's pretty. That's quite a lot actually. Like 1 centimeter, and like 99% of my pain just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what's going on now. Like it's so, listen to your body. Right? But
Yeah.
you know, on the other hand, if I wouldn't have raised the saddle at all and continued for another like 600 kilometers,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. That's the problem. So, and pain, like it's not necessarily negative thing. It's just your body signaling you in your brain that, hey, maybe you need to, pay attention to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
What can you do to change something that takes the pain away? So, for example, like when I first got injured, it was such a negative thing. Like in my head, I had lost my career. I had lost everything who I was, my identity, like the back pain, because I was fully in cross country skiing. I wanted to see how I could become the best athlete I could be within world stage. But then that injury, and I didn't have a support system that could tell me, hey, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
the pain in your back, yes, we need to take care of it, but it doesn't have to end
Mm.
your career and your passion. But I didn't have anyone to tell me that. So I associated that pain with so much negativity and so much loss that I took it with me for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was sitting like a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
You let go of that dream of becoming the best athlete you can be. And of course, that has pushed me to try to find how good I could be in sport. And but I think it's the negative thing that me, Marjaana, as a 20-year-old, associated the pain with back.
Yeah.
As a 46-year-old, I'm grateful for it because it has allowed me experience this crazy, beautiful journey that I've taken.
Yeah. I think as long as if you when you experience pain and you don't give up because of the pain, and you
Yeah,
find other ways, you find ways to handle it, you find ways to push through, you find ways to do your passion anyway. Maybe you solve the pain, maybe it disappears, maybe you can
yeah,
strengthen this or that, maybe you can go to physio or whatever, and you continue, then you learn a lot. As
yeah,
long as you don't kind of stop, like you do something, right, to progress
exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't have to be the end.
Exactly. Yeah, because of the end, that's very dramatic. It's the end is the end. You know, I
Yeah.
also had pain and knee pain and back pain and what's not pain, like pain anywhere. And it's like finally you kind of lose yourself. You lose your identity because I'm an ultra runner. I have pain. I'm not an ultra runner. Then who am I?
Right. And we could talk about like how do we see ourselves? Like what is our identity? How connected it has to be to what we do or not.
Yeah.
But I remember you mentioned phantom pains
Yeah, I
before
did.
a race in that podcast that we did in Athletes Compass podcast, and I'm like, I started kind of having a niggle in my heel a month before the race, and I'm like, is this real or is this one of those phantom pains that happens before a big race? Like you're so invested in this race
Yeah.
and you're at top condition, like you push so hard with training, you're at the breaking point. And I think your mind starts to, your body and mind are so fatigued from the training
Yeah.
that it's trying to send you signals. And I think it's important to like recognize those phantom pains that will go away. Race day comes and you feel nothing. But I think it's important to recognize those I think they are warning signs your body and mind is telling like, okay, You pushed it pretty hard until this point. Like maybe you need to slow down and take it easy, listen to your body. Like don't push it too much because you don't want to end up, which I did 2 weeks before the race. I got head cold. So I had to take a few days off. Not ideal, but I think it was like I was in a mindset that this is probably for the better and you should have listened to those warning signs.
Yeah. So essentially, listen to your body and mind, but also take into consideration your previous experiences, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have like 1.5 questions,
Okay.
1.5 questions left. So the half question is, you mentioned Athletic AI. You have a T-shirt, Athletic AI. I mentioned Athletic AI in previous episodes and podcasts, and Paul has been a guest as well, and so on. I use Athletic AI. I will use it for a race I just signed up to. But could you maybe just share, like briefly, what is Athletic AI?
Athletica AI is brainchild of Dr. Paul Larson. He is a world-renowned exercise physiologist. And basically what Athletica solves is the problem, what training should I do now? So using AI-driven, it's a AI-driven platform based on exercise science. So Dr. Larson, he wrote a book with Dr. Martin Bushai called Science and Application of High Intensity Interval Training. It's not just about heat, there's also health, there's like 20 something different sports, but basically Athletica now has triathlon, running, cycling, rowing. We're building cross-country skiing plans, and you just plug in your Garmin or Strava account, get all your training in there, and then it builds you a training program based on your goals. And it's really flexible and it adapts to you. So instead of using a static plan that you find from Google or whatever, somebody gives it to you, the plan lives with you. So if you miss a session or 2 or 3, it automatically adapts the next sessions. Or if you go on a little bit higher intensity group ride or group run, where you push yourself a little bit, then it automatically adapts the next sessions to give you a little bit of a less load so you don't get overtrained. So the science behind it is really, really solid. And it takes a conservative approach to training you. So because you don't want to get sick or overtrained.
That's it. Thank you for the summary explanation of what Athletic AI is. So we are both using it. So I think it's a great tool. And so that was like the half question. Now I have the final full question.
Okay.
So the final question, time is running and all of these things, and we have training sessions to do and ultra running events and whatnot, right? So the final question, Marjaana, is what's your like final message to the audience, to the listener? It's a very deep question. It's very, very profound. No stress, no pressure.
No stress. Well, I guess I've already mentioned, not to expect everything to be perfect. Life is not perfect. And I think part of the challenge is to face these seemingly impossible obstacles and challenges with the flexible mindset and appreciation of what a wonderful life you have.
Bada bing. Perfect ending. So where can the audience reach you? Like, how can they reach you? What's your website or Instagram handle or?
Yeah, my website is tiredmomruns.com. I'm on Instagram as tiredmomruns. So if anyone want to chat with me there, I think Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Thank you for being a guest on the Quest podcast, Marjaana. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is the wrap up for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find me on all main social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even on LinkedIn under the Primal Swede. Okay, so follow me there for behind the scenes content from the podcast, but also where I share more info about nutrition, fitness, endurance, bikepacking, and all of these things, adventure, right? About the podcast itself, make sure to subscribe and follow the podcast. I'm on all main podcast platforms like iTunes, Spotify, and so on, okay? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube as well so you don't miss anything else I put on my YouTube channel, okay? So now to finish this off, I really hope you got value and inspiration, and just one final thing, stay strong, kick ass, and be a beast, my friend. Go after your dreams, chase your dreams, never give up. Cheers, bye.